The top 4 signs that you are most likely experiencing decision fatigue. Number 1, you become reckless or act impulsively. So instead of responding, you're reacting. And this is not just around what you're wanting to make a decision around, it's actually around everything in your life. What about this idea? Number 2 is that it's really difficult to exercise self-control. You have no willpower because you've depleted all of your mental energy. Number 3, you get stuck in analyzing and overanalyzing and overthinking and playing out worst case scenarios in your head. You're chasing perfect, which is never going to happen, versus optimal for your own deepest priorities. And the last one, you get stuck with status quo. You choose something because it's easiest, because it keeps you in your comfort zone, even if your comfort zone is shitty.
Welcome to the Permission Slip podcast, where I, empowerment coach, mindset expert, and holistic nutritionist Carmen share with you the tools, conversations, and resources you need to write your own permission slip, take massive action, and become obsessed with your own life. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Permission Slip podcast. This episode is fire. You are going to love this. So get out a pen and paper right now. Make sure that you share this with a friend. You text it to them ASAP because we're all experiencing this at some level and it's really fucking holding us back. And what I'm talking about today is the idea of decision fatigue. You know, at the end of your day, how you feel, how you're like, I do not want to make any decisions on what to eat, what to watch, where to go for dinner, what to do with the kids, where to plan our summer vacation, what we're doing for the weekend. Like, please take me off the list of making any of these decisions. And if you try to make decisions, it's just like the worst ever. Can you feel me on that? Like, hit me up on social at Carmen, tag me on your Instagram stories. Let me know if you can relate and share this episode ASAP. So that's what we're diving into today. This idea of decision fatigue. And that's the idea that after making so many decisions each and every day, your ability to make decisions on that day worsens. It gets worse and worse and worse. Now, I looked at a study and it said that on any given day, the average person makes 35,000 decisions. And do you know how many of those are like active decisions where we're actually just like, yes, I'm going to do that, versus just like automatically happening? 5% is active and the other 95 is passive. Wow, that was really huge to me. And as I'm recording this, it has me thinking like, I should really like take an inventory. Maybe this is something that we could all do. I didn't write this in my outline, but why don't we take an inventory of all the decisions that we have to make? That would take a long time in one day, but just keeping a little notepad and writing down, oh, I just made that decision, that decision, that decision, that decision. Because think about it. You wake up and you decide, are you going to snooze? Or are you going to go back to sleep? Are you going to exercise? Are you going to eat breakfast? Are you going to skip it? What are you going to wear? Are you taking a shower this morning? Did you take one last night? What's your makeup going to look like? Are you going to wash your hair today? Should you curl it or keep it straight? Should you wear a hat? What are the kids going to wear? What are they going to eat? Did they pack their lunches already? Should I decide? I know they don't like school lunch, but maybe I'll just send them money. Should I make that decision? Or I'm going to be a bad mom, so I should probably make their lunches. Okay, what way should I drive to the office? Do you see where I'm going with this? So many fucking decisions all day long. All day long. So if you're like, I don't know, Carmen, I'm still not feeling it. Yeah, but we have to make decisions. And we do. We really need to make decisions in our life because the number one reason that you're experiencing any form of anxiety often comes back to not making a decision, being indecisive. And the number one way to break through that anxiety, that overwhelm, that lingering feeling of shittiness inside that causes us to think that we have to do more. And we often self-isolate, which is a whole nother topic, a whole nother issue that I'm on my soapbox on this year, because guess what? I do it too. It just makes us feel like shit. So if we can get out of indecision and into action, but what if there's still so many fucking decisions to make? So, what are the top 4 signs that you're experiencing decision fatigue? The first one is you become reckless. You act impulsively. So, you do what I like to call you react based on your feelings or your emotions versus responding. And this doesn't even just relate to a decision that you have to make. This relates to your relationships, to your business, to everything else around you, not just decision making. The second thing, and hear me out on this one, if you have some goals that you've started a bunch and you just can't keep your commitments for, maybe the amount of decisions you have to make in your life each and every day is why. Because if you're at decision fatigue, oftentimes it's going to be very difficult to exercise self-control, i.e., you have zero willpower. Think about that. You want to reach that goal? Maybe address your decision making. Because sometimes it's not the thing that we think that we need to control and white knuckle. It's something different, something with our mind. The third thing is we get stuck, and I hear this all the time from so many women, stuck in over-analyzing. We're chasing perfect or being so super ready instead of looking at what the optimal choice is based on our own deepest priorities and what's important to us. Often we start over-analyzing because we think about what other people will think versus how it feels to us. So you can check yourself right there with your decision making. Are you making a decision based on how it looks on the outside to other people, or based on what feels damn good to you and what your deepest priorities are in life? And if you haven't figured those out yet, you probably need to back this up and listen to another podcast where I talk about that. But figuring out what you want is so important with decision making. And number 4, and the last one, is a sign that you're in decision fatigue is sticking with status quo, staying with the comfortable, staying in your comfort zone. But guess what? Oftentimes your comfort zone is actually a shitty zone, but you know what to expect in the shitty zone. And uncertainty is scary, so you don't make any decision to change. Other things that you might find is that you have low creativity. You can't stay focused. You find that you're numbing out with whatever your top go-to numbing is. And guess what? It can be positive things. One of my top numbing out things is working, overworking to be exact, working when I don't need to be working. Because I have shit planned out and structured, and I am disciplined and focused around it. And so if I'm working outside of those hours, that could mean that I need to address something else in my life. Or letting yourself off the hook. Are you letting yourself off the hook too often and not keeping commitments to yourself? Those could all be signs as well. Okay, so now that we know what it is, how it's affecting us, how to recognize it, because that's part of this, right? Is self-awareness. So I want you to write down right now, like, what are the signs that you're experiencing in your life so you can be super aware. So when you have that sign, then you can tell yourself, okay, Carmen, remember when you can't exercise self-control, that's probably because you're at decision fatigue. Or when you're overanalyzing something, you're probably at decision fatigue. So let me talk to you about, I sat and I was like, what are some of the things that I do to make sure that I'm not at decision fatigue? And let me tell you, this is a fucking work in progress, because sometimes at the end of the day, I am still at decision fatigue. And I just tell Joel, like, I don't give a shit, just make the decision. So the first one, I was very awesomely reminded by one of my amazing friends and clients, Jenny, about a podcast I did way back when the podcast first started about how to be focused. And it's the idea of do it now and do it to completion. And what I mean by that is don't do things halfway. For example, don't leave dishes in the sink. Wash it and put it in the dishwasher. Don't take the laundry out of the dryer and dump it on your bed and leave it there to do later. Do it right away and do it to completion. Don't have 3 work tasks that you're going to do for the day and do half of all 3 of them, and tomorrow you have 3 left. Stay focused on one and do it to completion. It takes discipline to do that. But let me tell you what, then you won't have to decide later when you're going to go back and do the dishes, fold the laundry, get the 3 work tasks done, all the things, because you've focused and you've done it to completion. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of controversy over this next one, and that is make it the exact same every day. Make it the fucking exact same. When I ask if people like to eat the same thing every day, because being a holistic nutritionist and having just a nutrition practice in Oregon for so many years, people would say, well, I want variety, but I want it to be simple because I don't want to eat the same thing every day. And if you're like, yep, that's totally right, then here's the question I have for you. What did you have for breakfast every single day last week? Most likely it was the fucking same thing. Or it was nothing and you went through the Starbucks drive-thru and then you saw like that cake pop and you got that. So often we're resistant to making it the same because it's human nature to want freedom and to want choice. But what if you could take away some of those 35,000 choices that we make and decisions that we make each and every day and make them the same so you don't even have to think about it? I recently started wearing the same outfits every single day. It just makes it really, really easy. And then I thought, there are some days where I really want to put, like today was one of them. I really want to put myself together. I want to be in such a high vibe. I want to work away from home. I want to feel really amazing. I want to connect with other people socially because that's so important. Because when I'm just working from home all week long and not having any social interaction, it really drains my energy. And so I thought, you know what? In my closet, I'm going to put together outfits. So I can either wear the same thing every single day and not make a decision on it, or just grab an outfit really quick and put it on based on how I want to feel for the day. So instead of organizing your closet by shirts and pants, and you see where I'm going here, put together outfits. Something else that you could make the same is your grocery list. So your staples, have a staple grocery list, something that you order each week. Maybe it's like milk, eggs, chicken breast, arugula, cucumbers, radishes, Brussels sprouts, kabocha squash, shrimp, wild caught fish, grass-fed beef. You see where I'm going here? And save it. All the local grocery stores have an app where you can go on and do this. And you can place the order and then just go and pick it up. And each week, all you'd have to do is really look at it and see if you need to add anything to those staples that you already get. So make things the same and be okay with it. Try it out. I'm trying to figure out how I can make a lot of things the same So then my time and attention can be really focused on what my deepest priorities are, not making stupid little decisions that drain my energy. The next thing is to limit your choices. If you say, oh, that's not always possible, it can be possible for you. Just limit your choices. For example, in planning our upcoming retreat, so our next retreat, I'm super excited. By the way, retreat tickets are out. The link is in the show notes. This is the most magical, curated experience for 15 women that you will ever go to. I'm not going to go all in on it, but it's the Permission Slip Retreat. It's October 8th through 11th. Check it out. It's for you. Believe me. Anyway, for the retreat, there are so many endless options of where the retreat could be. So I made a list of top criteria that I wanted to make sure that these retreat venues had. And then I made a criteria of what we would look at as far as like decision making. So budget, experience, do they provide transportation, like different things like that. And then sent it to someone on our team and said, please research this in this area and give me the top 3 based on this criteria. Now, that's actually an exercise in letting go of control as well. So it's kind of a double duty here. But do you see what I mean about reducing your choices? Otherwise, I could have asked my team member, or I could have researched the thousands and thousands of retreat locations, and it would have taken a really, really long time. Or she would have sent me back like 10 options. 10 would be way too much. 3 is perfect. Number 4, delegate the entire fucking decision. Whatever the decision is, whether it is planning dinner, planning to get together with a couple of friends that you really love, just asking them to take care of it. I can't remember where we were going, but my bestie Crystal and I, we were going somewhere and we were going to get together with some people. And she asked me once, she's like, do you just want me to take care of like booking it and getting it all set up and everything? I thought, even though like I was on the kind of the lead on like what we were going to do, I thought, well, fuck yeah, I do. Go for it. And just the thing is, you have to be okay with when you delegate a decision, you have to be okay with they're not going to do it exactly like you would do it. And just be okay with the decision. And if there is something that's really important to you to make sure in the decision making, make sure you set those expectations. Yeah, I would really like for you to plan that thing for getting together with friends, but I really want it to be outside and for them to have healthy food options, something like that. So then you're saying, yes, here is what I want to make sure and have. And you're delegating the decision making. There are so many decisions that you're making right now that you could ask a friend, you could ask your significant other. Shoot, you're making decisions for your kids or for your family members that they could just be making on their own. And guess what? Especially for kids, that builds confidence and resiliency because they're going to make mistakes. But when you make mistakes, that's how you learn the best. Okay, number 5, and there's a total of 7, so we're almost to the end here, is use a weekly brain dump. And what is that? A weekly brain dump is where you just write out all of your to-dos, including all of the decisions that you need to make. So maybe that is something like booking a hotel or booking flights, making a decision on flights for summer travel. Maybe that is deciding what day you're going to go get your car washed or drop off the dry cleaning. There are so many decisions that need to be made each and every week that are associated with to-do lists. And you're going to love this because the new Be the Light Transformation Journal that is out on Amazon. Seriously, if you just if you just type in the Amazon search bar, Be the Light Transformation Journal, every week we've included for you a brain dump. And then the coolest thing happens after you get it all out of your brain. First of all, you take back some mental capacity because decision fatigue really drains your mental bandwidth. So you're taking some back because you get it out of your brain, but then you decide, does the task actually need to be done? Because often we are in that comfort zone and sometimes we're doing things that no longer even need to be done. And then you decide, does it need to be done by me? Like, so does it have to be done by you? And check yourself here, because there's so many things, like I said, on delegating. This is where you have an opportunity to delegate, where you have an opportunity to ask for help. And if you're going to delegate or ask for help, ask early, ask often, and be clear. And if you have specific expectations, share those. Now we're at, does it need to be done? Does it need to be done by me? So now you have this list left of things that can only be done by you. You need to ask, does it need to be done this week? And the things that do not need to be done this week, you set aside and you use what I call planned procrastination. Procrastination can be a good thing because it gets out of your head. You have it on the list. You're not going to forget about it. So you don't have to worry about it, because you know next week when you do your brain dump again, those things you plan for, oh, well, maybe they are the following week or the week after that. Or maybe you're worrying about it and you don't have to do it for like 3 months and you can just get it scheduled on your calendar. So now you're left with a list of things that actually need to be done. You're not just like making up things and doing them because you've always done them. Things that need to be done this week and things that can only be done by you. This is going to help with your mental capacity and your bandwidth so much. In the journal, it's linked in the show notes. It guides you through that each and every week. It's so helpful. I do it each and every week, and I've done it for years. I share this in my one-on-one coaching practice, and it's like a fucking game changer. Number 6, use this mantra every day if you find that you're in indecision a lot. I am a decisive person. And here's what I want you to do. Each morning when you get up, when you first go to the bathroom, so go to the bathroom, and then I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, looking in your eyes. This is called mirror mantras. And it's work that was first talked about with Louise Hay. Her work is really, really great. And just tell yourself, I am a decisive person. Do it right now. Say it right now with me. I am a decisive person. I am a decisive person. Looking yourself in the eyes 3 times. Do that for 33 days. Shit's going to help change for you. I promise. Because in the back of your brain, somehow your subconscious is learned that you're not a decisive person and you're not good at making decisions. And what that comes down to is not trusting yourself. So this is really going to help build self-trust, confidence, and be able to make the right decisions based on your deepest priorities faster, stay out of anxiety, stay out of overwhelm, and be okay with a little uncertainty, little change, a little growth. The last thing, sleep. Get sleep. Get at least 7 hours of sleep per night. Everybody needs a different amount. Me, I'm like an 8 or 9 hour. I'm okay with 7, but anything less than that, I do feel a little drained. Sleep is when our body rejuvenates itself. Think about it. When I don't get sleep, I 100% know that it's going to be difficult to exercise self-control. I will have no willpower. I am not going to be focused. I am not going to be creative. All those things that I said were a sign of decision fatigue, like automatically happen. So the amount of decision-making power that you're going to have when you're lacking sleep is going to be so fucking low. So that's it. That's what decision fatigue is. The idea that after making decisions throughout the day, that you become worse and worse by the end of the day. We went over the signs, how to know if you are at decision fatigue, and what to do to get out of it. So I want to hear from you. Tag me on your Instagram stories. Tell me which way to get out of it you're going to try first and what sign came up for you the most. And please share this episode with a friend, because this is hitting home for me. I know it's hitting home for you, and it's going to hit home for them as well. So thank you so much for being a part of our community. If you're thinking about coming to that Tulum retreat, I can't wait to see you. Other things we have upcoming in person. In August in Miami Beach, we're going to do another Permission Slip Podcast Live tour stop, which is going to be super fun. We would love to see you there. And until then, you can always find me too in our free Facebook group. And each month, there's lots of like guest coaching, guest speakers, free recipes, free movement, journaling, all of these things, and wonderful communication and engagement with the whole community. So I'm super, super grateful for that community. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next week.